You know what's funny? Most people spend their whole lives trying to figure out what they're passionate about. They're searching, soul searching, taking personality tests, asking themselves, what's my purpose? And then there's you. You don't have that problem. Your problem is the complete opposite. You're interested in everything. You want to learn guitar and start a podcast and get into digital marketing and maybe learn to code, and you've been thinking about that photography course. And what about starting that blog you've been planning for 2 years? Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? People call it being a multi-potentialite or a scanner or a renaissance person, and they make it sound cool and special. But let's be real for a second. Most of the time, it just feels like you're scattered. Like you're standing at a buffet with 100 dishes and you're trying to eat everything at once and you end up tasting nothing properly. I've been there. I've started so many things I was passionate about. I've got half-finished courses. I have personally tried machine learning, web development, graphic designing, e-commerce, digital marketing, and many failed YouTube channels. At one point, I was convinced I was just lazy or broken or something. But here's what I figured out, and this is probably going to save you years of frustration. You don't have a passion problem. You have a strategy problem. The real issue nobody talks about. See, the world is designed for specialists. The whole system, school, careers, success stories, they're all built around people who pick one thing and go deep. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a software engineer. Pick your lane, stay in it, become the best. That works great if you're wired that way. But what if you're someone with multiple interests? The system makes you feel like you're doing it wrong, like you need to just pick something and stick with it. And so you try, you pick something, let's say graphic design. You go hard for 3 months. You're learning Photoshop, watching tutorials, doing practice projects. You're feeling good. Then you get curious about something else. Maybe it's video editing or writing or investing, and that new thing feels exciting and fresh, and the graphic design starts feeling like a chore. So you switch and the cycle repeats. Now pay close attention to this though. The problem isn't that you have too many interests. The problem is you're treating them all like they're supposed to become your career. And that's the trap. You think every interest needs to turn into something big. Every hobby needs to be monetized. Every skill needs to become your identity. And when you can't commit to one thing 100%, you feel like a failure. But there's a different way to look at this. Alright, I will share the strategy. It's stupid simple, but it works. Step 1, stop trying to pick one thing. I know, everyone's telling you the opposite. Find your niche. Focus is everything. But listen, you've tried that, right? How'd that work out? You're fighting your nature. It's like telling a dog not to chase squirrels. You can train it, sure, but it's going against instinct. Instead, accept that you're someone with multiple interests. That's not a bug, and think of it as a feature. The goal isn't to kill off your other interests. The goal is to organize them in a way that actually moves your life forward. Step 2, separate your interests into 3 categories. Grab a piece of paper. Seriously, do this. List out all the things you're interested in or want to learn. Everything. Don't filter yourself. Now put them into 3 buckets. Bucket 1, the money maker. This is the one skill or interest that has the most realistic potential to pay your bills in the next 1 to 3 years. Notice I didn't say your passion. I didn't say the thing you love most. I said the thing that can make money. This might be something you're already decent at. Maybe it's writing, coding, video editing, or sales or marketing. Pick the one that checks these boxes. You're already somewhat good at it. There's actual demand for it. You don't hate it. That's your anchor, the thing you're going to prioritize above everything else for the next year or 2. Bucket 2, the soul stuff. These are the things you do purely because they make you feel alive. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's hiking or cooking or reading philosophy. What is important here is that you are not trying to monetize these. These are not side hustles. These are the things that keep you sane. These are your hobbies, and hobbies are allowed to just be hobbies. I know the internet tells you to turn your passion into profit, but honestly, that's how you ruin the things you love. Let some things just be for you. Bucket 3, the curiosity shelf. Everything else goes here, all those random interests you want to explore someday. Learning Japanese, getting into astronomy, studying stoicism, whatever. These stay on the shelf. You're not saying never, you're saying not now. And that's okay. They'll still be there when you have more time and mental space. Step 3, go all in on bucket 1. This is where most people with multiple interests mess up. They try to give equal attention to everything. They split their time 50-50-50. Yeah, I know the math doesn't work. That's exactly the problem. You can't build momentum that way. You can't get good at anything that way. So what I want you to do is For the next 6 to 12 months, your bucket one skill gets 80% of your productive energy, maybe more. That doesn't mean you work on it 80% of your waking hours. It means that when you sit down to actually work on building your future, that's where your focus goes. Let's say you have 2 hours a day for productive work. Give 90 minutes to your moneymaker skill. Take courses, do projects, build a portfolio, network with people in that field. Treat it like it matters, because it does. This is the thing that's going to give you freedom. Once you're making decent money from this skill, whether it's freelancing, a job, or a small business, you buy yourself options. You buy yourself time to explore other things later. Step 4, schedule your bucket 2, stuff like appointments. Now, our soul stuff, the things that make life worth living, you don't abandon those, but you also don't let them eat up all your productive time. Put them in your calendar, literally. Sunday morning journaling and Wednesday evening painting. Friday night reading. Treat these like non-negotiables, but also recognize what they are. They're recovery. They're the things that keep you from burning out on your main focus. And you know what's the beautiful part? When you stop pressuring these activities to become something bigger, you actually enjoy them more. You read books because it feels good, not because you're trying to become some motivational speaker or guru, though they are not bad. Step 5, revisit and rotate. Here's where it gets interesting. You're not locked into this forever. This isn't a prison sentence. Once you've built some real momentum with your bucket one skill, once you're making money, once you've got some stability, you can reassess. Maybe in a year you decide to shift focus. Maybe your moneymaker becomes something you can do in less time, and you pull something off the curiosity shelf into bucket one. Maybe you combine 2 interests in a way that creates something new. The point is, you're not trying to do everything at once anymore. You're being strategic. You're building in sequence, not in chaos. So why this actually work? Let me tell you what happens when you do this. First, you stop feeling guilty all the time. You stop beating yourself up for not focusing, because you are focusing just on one main thing while keeping space for the rest. Second, you actually start getting good at something. When you give one skill 80% of your attention for 6 months, you make real progress. You go from interested in marketing to I can run Facebook ads that actually convert. That's the difference between dabbling and developing expertise. Third, you build confidence. Every little win in your main area gives you proof that you're not just a scattered mess. You're someone who can commit and deliver. Like, that confidence bleeds into everything else. And fourth, this is the big one. You create options for yourself. Money gives you options. Skills give you options. Once you've got those, you can start playing with your other interests from a position of strength, not in desperation like, oh, that guru said there's more money in this or that field. Now listen closely, because this is something no one tells you. I'm going to level with you. If you try to chase every interest equally, you're going to be 35 years old, still figuring things out, still jumping from thing to thing, still broke, still frustrated. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it because I've watched it happen. Hell, I almost let it happen to me. The people you admire who seem to do everything, the ones with multiple businesses and hobbies and skills, they didn't start that way. They built one thing first. They got good at one thing. They made money from one thing. Then they expanded. So now you're not behind or broken, but you do need to make a choice about what gets your focus right now. So here's what you're going to do after this video. Grab that piece of paper, make those 3 buckets. Be honest with yourself about what goes where. Pick your bucket 1, the thing that's going to be your main focus for the next 6 to 12 months, not forever, just for now. Then set up your week, block out time for your moneymaker, schedule your soul stuff, let everything else rest on the shelf, and then, this is the hardest part, actually stick to it. Not forever, just for this week, then next week, then the week after that. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop trying to do everything at once. Your interests aren't going anywhere. They'll be there. But your time, energy, and that one shot at building something real, that's limited. So use it strategically. You got this